Hello everyone, it is Wednesday, January 19th, and I have a few finished projects to show you. The first I'm going to show you is a Zabez project, but it was the one that he gifted me for Christmas. He gifted all of us one, and we could choose whichever one we wanted. So the one I chose is called Peony Pam, and here she is, and there's her head with the peony, and she's got this cute little bow in the back, and this bow is, this part is actually a separate piece from this part. So anyhow, I had started her in early December, and then I was sick for a little while, and I just sort of lost my enthusiasm for crocheting in general. And then after I finished these other two projects, I said, oh, for crying out loud, I just need to finish her. So I did. And I don't know if any of you ever do this. Well, first of all, on her hat part, she has 8 petals. And you had to make those separate, but then you crocheted them in. You didn't have to sew them in. So I got about 6 into them, and I realized something was wrong with them. And because after you make it, then you crochet around all the edges. Well, of the 4 sides, I was only doing 3. Just because of the way the pattern was sort of laid out, I was, for whatever reason, missing that 4th part. So out of the 6, 2 were okay, and 4 were not. And I was so frustrated. I just threw those 4 pieces in the garbage and went back to it. So I don't know if ever you just get so frustrated with something small like that that you're like, I'm not even saving the yarn. I'm not going to frog it. I'm just pitching it. That's it. So I've done that on a few projects. Just said, forget it. Forget it. Sometimes when my yarn gets really tangled, sometimes I just pitch it. I'm just like, I do not have the patience to deal with this. Anyhow, I finished 2 more rectangle grannies. So in order of how I finished them, I will show them to you. And each one of them was specifically using some yarn that I didn't want anymore, or maybe I only had one of. So with this one, okay, so it's teal, but you can see this color grading in the middle part. And that was 1 skein of Red Heart Ombre in Scuba that I had. Just 1. So the rest of it, I found matching colors and did it. And it's a lap blanket. It's too big for a baby blanket. Not quite big enough to be a full-size Afghan. So there's that one. Then with this one, I had 1 14-ounce skein, Never Enough, of Craftmart, and just 1. I'll put a picture of it right here before I started getting into it, and it's called something like Black, White, Gray. It was like, I'll put that picture here too, but I only had 1, so this is what I did with it. Let's see. So you can see that how it's woven up here. And this is the whole blanket in black, white, and gray. So, and I did, what's interesting about this black, white, and gray one is that I started it on Friday night, and I finished on Sunday night. So that's probably the fastest I've ever done one, and my shoulder blade was telling me stop and rest because my muscles on my right side under my shoulder were just screaming at me to stop. So that happens once in a while when I'm just like overdoing it with crochet and I'm working really hard and really fast. Because I'm right-handed, that whole side just gets kind of tense. And then it was like shooting up into my jaw and in my neck, and I was like, okay, that's enough. I'll stop. I'll work on the amigurumi for a little while. So I'm not in pain anymore. That was just, it just happens once in a while that, you know, my shoulder will get real cramped up like that. And it happened when I was making those Jade and Stitches calendar blankets from 2019. Oh, the burn back there was just amazing. Anyhow, let's see. We did go to the house last Tuesday. The plumber was there, so I couldn't really water the plants because the water was turned off. And but everything looks okay, and we just had rain the last couple days, so I'm not worried about getting out there this week. Hopefully next week we'll go out. We have this one guy who's living there and just kind of keeping watch over everything. And last time I had brought him out some popcorn, like a box of 3 microwave popcorn bags, and oh, he was so happy. So then when I went to the grocery store last Thursday, I picked up a box of 12 for him, so he'll be really happy. And maybe next time I go out, I'll make chocolate chip cookies for all the workers, and maybe some brownies too. We'll see. Brownies from a box mix, but the chocolate chips will be from scratch. So we'll just see. There's just so much work to be done. Oh my gosh, is there work to be done? So yeah, I don't have any more crochet stuff to talk about specifically. I did have 2 boxes of Joann's yarn that I hadn't incorporated into my stash yet, and last night I just thought, okay, wait, I've made 3 lap gowns recently. I've gone through a ton of yarn. There's got to be space in my main stash to put it. So I squished it into my main stash, was able to throw out the boxes, and it's always nice to throw out boxes. And I know that I want to make a couple more of these, even though I don't really have a place where I know they're going to be given. But I'd still like to make a couple more because, you know, as gifts or whatever, they're great. Oh, maybe I'll give one to the guy that's staying at the house. Which one would he like? Anyhow, so I'm going to be making a couple more of those, and then on starting February 1st, Valerie at Valerie's Cuddly Cat Crochet is going to start working on the Spring Fling, and I told her that if she wanted to do it, I would do it with her. I mean, for one thing, because I've done it 7 times already, and if she gets stuck or has any issues, then I can help her with those issues, because it's a little tricky in places, and plus there are just things that you learn about the way that things are counted on there, and boy, you have to be right on the count or the whole pattern gets a little wonky. So anyhow, I hope to start that. That'll take about 5.5 pounds of yarn, and I'll do a couple more of these granny rectangles. Now I should use another 5 pounds of yarn, So yeah, I'll be using up some of my yarn stash, which will be a good thing. So, hold on just a second. I have something to show you. Okay, some of you know that I collect, not religiously, I only collect certain ones, a little thing called We Forest Folk. And when I say little, I mean little. My collection is very small. I'm very particular about the ones that I want to add to the collection. So I've added a few to my collection recently. And the first one I'll show you is called Field Mouse. And you can see, let's see, come on, focus. It's a little mouse on a tractor, and he's got all kinds of harvest right by him. Now this one is a special piece because they didn't all have that harvest stuff. Most of them just had the mouse on the tractor. So that's one. And then this one is like one of my favorite pieces. Let's see. Oh, please focus. Okay, it's called Possum's Pizza Party. And it's a possum and a mouse having some pizza together. I don't know why it's not focusing. Well, anyways, they're so cute and they're so tiny. Anyhow, so that's just a weird little thing. Then, okay, this is totally off subject, but something that's really special to me in a weird way is the movie Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Yes. And you probably don't know that the woman who played Truly Scrumptious passed away last month, and she was 91, and her name was Sally Ann Howes. And the character of Truly was really precious in my life, and I don't know why, but when I saw the movie the first time, I mean, I was just like, her character, I just loved her character. And, you know, this was like in the early 70s when I first saw it, because I grew up on a military base, so we didn't get first run movies. We got them kind of after they'd been out for a while. And one time I know that Chitty was showing at the little tiny base theater. The line was long to get in, and they sold the last ticket to the person in front of me. I cried all the way home, and I just walked home. We walked everywhere on that base, and just cried. That movie was just so precious to me. And so then, hold on just a second, I'll show you something else. So, around the year 2003, I think I hadn't seen Chitty for a long time, and I got a copy of the DVD, and all those old feelings from 30 years previously came flooding back, and part of me was saying, well, what happens after the movie? You know, what happens to Truly, and, you know, and this romance that had developed? So it's like immediately my brain just started going into crazy directions and coming up with ideas, to the point I wrote this. It's truly a remarkable 20th century life. And it's 740 pages long. and it's full of real characters and real people, I mean. It takes place between 1910 and 1921, deals with the First World War and all the pre-war stuff in the suffrage movement, and deals with the Spanish flu from back then, and coming out of the Spanish flu, coming out of the war. It deals with polar exploration. I mean, not that she was involved with polar exploration, but all that history carries the story through those years of her life and what happened. So anyways, so I had met the actress once, but I had seen her perform in person, I think 4 times. And I saw her perform twice in, 1978, I think it was. She was with the touring group of The Sound of Music, and she came through Denver, and I saw her, and then the touring group swung back through Denver, and I saw her again. And, you know, this was in the days before the internet, so it wasn't like you could just find out information on people except by going to the library and looking through the card catalogs. Well, were they mentioned in any magazines? I mean, just basically, I didn't know anything. And then, of course, when the internet came around, and you had Wikipedia, and you had the Internet Movie Database, and there was just tons of information. And then I saw her in 2005 when she was in New York doing some, I can't remember, something at the Lincoln Center. And then I saw her maybe a year later, and she was in Los Angeles for some AIDS benefit thing and a Stephen Sondheim night, and I met her afterwards at the reception afterwards, which you had to pay like an arm and a leg to go to. And it was like I needed that. I needed to meet her finally after writing this book, so that I could kind of separate her from the character. And I know that sounds crazy, but you know, they're very, in my mind, it's like they were still married in a way. And think of the movie E.T. when E.T. and Elliot separated, and I needed that mental separation, because this book, I wrote it in 2004, 2005, and I just needed that break, and that gave me the break that I needed. But I'm still totally in love with that character. I will always be in love with that character. I have that character's whole backstory. I have her grandparents' backstory. I have the future. You know, I could write so many sequels and prequels to this book. It's ridiculous. So, anyways, that's just something weird, just like the biggest piece of fan fiction you ever heard of in your life. Anyhow, that's what's been going on in my world. And also, I wanted to say, and it's a totally different subject again, if you have not started stocking up and building your pantry, what are you waiting for? Seriously, prices are going to go sky high this year. If you're a coffee drinker especially, get some coffee, stock up your pantry. Inflation is not going to get better. It's not going to slow down. You need to stock up. You need to be prepared, because even if you go in the supermarket now, yeah, there's food now, but every week there's less and less. So How much less is it going to get? Hey, I went to the supermarket a couple weeks ago and there was no chicken. That's right, I'm not a vegan or a vegetarian. There was no chicken. None. And a friend of mine went to that same supermarket, I don't know, like a week ago, and there are no fruits or vegetables. So you may not be feeling it too much where you are, but believe me, it's coming. You need to stock up. Please stock up. Be smart. Be a Joseph like in the Bible, and he was given the ability to interpret Pharaoh's dream of 7 lean years and 7 fat years, and in the fat years you stock up, and because the lean years are coming, and we are now already entering the lean years. And my question is, have you stocked up? You need to stock up. Go and stock up. Every time you go to the grocery store, get a few extra cans of this or that. You don't have to spend a fortune, but you do need to stock up. Everybody needs to stock up. Store the food under your bed. Store it in your cupboards. Wherever you can store it. But stock up, please. And anyhow, on that pleasant note, I hope you all have a good rest of the day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.